gentlemen, Wilcots, Sam Monson. Time to talk about our NFL receiving core for 2019. And I saw this list, Sam, and I saw the Philadelphia Eagles, and that shocked me. So tell me, explain to me why the Eagles.
Yeah, and you weren't the only one. A lot of people were pretty upset about that. And the funny thing about Eagles fans is they get more mad when you tell them they're good at something than when you tell them they suck at something.
That's right.
We ranked the Eagles as our number one offensive line a couple of years ago, and they were so mad that they were the number one in the league, and they've been there ever since. They've been the best offensive line in football since that point.
Yeah.
I guess the real point with this offensive receiving group is it's about depth. Yeah. I don't think anybody else in the National Football League goes as deep as the Philadelphia Eagles do right now. You have that group of wideouts that they had last year. They add Deshaun Jackson to that. He's still one of the best
very prolific
deep weapons in the entire game. You draft a guy like J.J. Arcega-whiteside, who we thought was a first-round talent, an incredible jump ball guy, runs good routes as well. He's a dangerous receiver, even though he's a rookie. And then you've got those two tight ends, not just Zach Ertz, but Dallas Goedert as well, who was a really impressive performer as a rookie, will only get better in year two, and some running backs out of the backfield.
A lot of projections, though, because I look at, say, a team like, say, the Atlanta Falcons. We know what Julio Jones brings to the table. In my mind, Mohamed Sanu is a proven commodity. Calvin Ridley acquitted himself very well last year as a rookie. And Austin Hooper is an ascending tight end amongst that group. So Falcons check in number 2 on our list. They could easily be number 1. Why not?
Yeah, and I think really it's the Julio factor, right? You look at Julio, arguably the best wide receiver in the game, certainly better than anybody the Philadelphia Eagles have. But I think you go back to the depth and you say the Eagles just run deeper than the Falcons do. Yeah. Even though all those guys you mentioned are definitely impressive weapons, you know, if one of them goes down hurt, then your depth suddenly starts to suffer. The Eagles can lose any one of these guys and just plug the next guy in and still be absolutely fine. I just think they have so many more weapons than anybody else on this list.
You want depth? I got depth for you. How about the LA Rams?
Yeah.
Okay, with Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp was a guy that I think they sorely missed down the stretch last year. But their tight ends, Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett, 2 ascending tight ends. One guy's very athletic. The other guy just does everything well. So this is an offensive receiving core that's got excellent depth. And I think, in my mind, I might have them maybe a tick higher than those Eagles you're talking about.
Yeah, I think they have the best case in terms of another team that has incredible depth, because you didn't even mention the running backs. You know, Todd Gurley out of the backfield is still an incredible weapon. Yeah. I just think the Eagles, man for man, are a little bit better across the board. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can make the case that Robert Woods is better than any one of these Eagles receivers, but every other complementary piece on this Eagles team is probably better than the corresponding Rams guy. Certainly when you look at the tight ends, you know, Zach Ertz is better than either of those guys, even though they're on the way up. Dallas Goedert, I think, has a case to be as good as either of those guys on the way up. So again, I think the Eagles, they both have incredible depth, but I think the Eagles just a little bit more talented.
And just so that everyone in Minnesota isn't angry at us, because we got to give the Vikings some love, because when you have 2 receivers like Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, both had over 100 receptions last year and over 1,000 yards, and then they've got Kyle Rudolph, in my mind, is a very good tight end, above average tight end. Irv Smith Jr., a lot of promise there. We got to see him deliver. But this is a wide receiving core that could have projected near the top of the list as well for 2019.
Definitely. And I think you could easily make the case that they have the best 1-2 punch in all of football with those 2 receivers. Their problem is, who's the number 3? And they haven't been able to find that guy for years. It was Laquan Treadwell for a number of years, first-round pick, just hasn't been able to get anything done as their 3rd receiver. And when you look in their training camp, you look at their roster right now, there's kind of no obvious guy to come in there, take that number 3 spot, and really be productive. They just don't have that spot there. Irv Smith could well be a good player, but tight end tends to struggle year 1, particularly as that second guy who will need to do a bit of blocking, you know, and that's a struggle for young tight ends in today's NFL. You still need to be able to hold your own as a blocker, and college guys don't do that yet.
We're going to have a conversation at the end of the season. We're coming back to this. I think it's a really good, worthwhile conversation. A lot of projections, a lot of hope for those Eagles. Even the Eagles fans is not as optimistic maybe as this list would show. All right, if you want to get PFF Edge for free, all you have to do is subscribe by going to the YouTube channel. All you have to do is leave your comments using your Twitter handle.